Why am I the only one dancing? I need to know if anybody else dances when they hear that music, or is it just me? Welcome, everyone, to Cut the Shit, Cue the Genius Show, episode 50,000,001. And happy Thursday. Happy Thursday, Bruno.
Happy Thursday,
And
Dahlia.
and Liz is with us, but behind the scenes because she is taking care of family first. But Liz is with us in spirit and in
Hello,
given.
I am here.
Yes, absolutely. So we have a great topic as usual. Today we are discussing snackable event content trend. I don't know if it's a trend anymore. I just want to call it just snackable event content. But before we get started, Bruno, you were just at Disney.
Yes, I spent a couple of days at Disney World, going in thinking that because I'm in Florida, there's going to be some like major like protest thing going on, or people inside Disney World are going to be, wearing some gang colors or something saying I'm for LGBTQIA people, I'm against whatever. And so I didn't really know what to expect in the current kind of political climate. But I have to say that everyone inside Disney, pretty much that I saw, and I saw a lot of people over 2 days, is about Disney. They're not doing anything but Disney. They're wearing the Disney ears, the Mickey ears, and now there are so many kinds. I mean, Dahlia, you would be like, it's seventh heaven with all the pretty, glittery, lovely.
There's the Star Wars. There's like
everything ears. You've got all the Disney shirts. They've got them customized, like with people's names on it. I mean, there was I felt like I was the only one there with like my own clothing and didn't have ears on. Anyway, but the point is that it's such a microcosm of what America should be. I mean, I was very moved and almost to tears thinking about the mixture of cultures and languages and people and families together there. And it's really all about focusing on the experience. And then Disney as an organization, it would be so easy to just think about, oh, this is one giant upsell. It's like you're supposed to go in there and ride rides, but everybody's buying all the merch and, every store's got stuff for sale and things like that. But I realized that it requires a lot of money to actually power the experience that's going on there. And it was very revelatory for me inside that park, seeing really truly how happy everyone was and your ability to forget what's going on in the world and the way that Disney accommodates everyone, disabilities, neurodivergent people, people that speak different languages. I mean, whatever it is that you need help with, they are right there, spot on. And Liz, bring in your really cute story about what happened to you at Disney.
Oh, yeah. So this was a few years ago, but Craig and I were there. So this was pre-kids. This was like many years ago. And we went on a ride. Well, we were waiting to go on the Aladdin ride or something like that. And we were waiting forever. And then eventually the ride just like broke down. So they closed it. So we went on our way. It was just one of those, I feel like at an amusement park, you just expect for that to happen. So then my phone rings. I look down and it's like an Orlando number. So I was thinking maybe it's the hotel. So I pick it up and they're like, hi, this is blah, blah, blah from Disney. We realized that you have waited on this line for too long and then it closed. And we would hate for that to be your experience. So we are giving you a fast pass for any ride you'd like. What would you like? So we ended up getting like an extra fast pass to go on a ride that day. And I was just thinking, talk about customer service. We weren't complaining. They were clearly using the RFID bands to track how long people were waiting. And they proactively reached out just to make sure we were happy. And I was thinking, this is next level.
Mhm.
That kind of experience. And I've been using like their RFID band picture in presentations for years and telling that story because it sticks. It's one of those things that sticks with you, how far out of their way they go to make sure the experience is great. And they were using that long before the event industry was using RFID in smart ways, especially to do stuff like that and make the experience better and not just track exhibitor leads.
Also, I mean, if we look back at the David Adler session that we did,
Mhm.
we're in the goosebumps business.
Mhm.
So, I think
Absolutely.
Disney kind of delivers that in a very personal, like you said, customer service centric way, where it gives you goosebumps. Whenever I go to Disney, no matter how old the kids are, and no matter how hot it is, it's sometimes hot as Hades when I go
Mhm.
to Disney. But like just looking around and everybody seems to get into this like um it's like almost like an aura, or it's like a spell that's cast on you that you are going to have a good time.
Mhm.
Don't think of the money that you're spending. Don't think of how many people or how long the line is. Like even like waiting in line, it's an experience. Like, at Harry Potter, the frames are turning, all of that to a point, and this just to bring this back to like what the session is about, this is where actually it's user generated content, because
Mhm.
everybody has their phones out and are trying to capture that goosebump moment, or like those moments where they can go back and show it off.
Yeah,
And I think Disney has done an amazing job in turning everybody that is in the park as content creators.
I
How many
agree.
pictures did you take, Bruno?
Um, well, they were mostly of my granddaughter. Like 25 pictures of her shaking Goofy's hand, and then another 30 with Minnie and stuff like that. It's just like it's so cute. You just
Well, seeing it from her
just
eyes.
I know you just can't avoid it, but this could be a whole show because I going through it as an event professional,
Yeah.
I've got a different eye, I think, than maybe if you're an architect or a, garbage truck driver. Um, I think we could do a whole show on this. It's just there's something really uh, cohesive about it. I mean, they've worked at it for whatever, 50, 60
Well,
years
they
since.
perfect it too. And
Yeah.
granted, there's people that try to like knock it down and say, "Oh, it's a money machine" and all of that. But hey, it works for when you are there, and when you come out of it, you have a smile on your face. And when those photos and videos come up on your timeline as memories or reminders, you still smile about it. So,
And they don't like advertise that piece of it.
yep.
It's just like they advertise everybody's welcome. When you come in, it's like friend, they call you friend, or they called our granddaughter's 3 years old princess, and we're all, I mean, I know it's so, baked into the whole experience, but you just think the kids that are working there, letting people in line. I mean, how many times have they had to deal with, crabby kids and upset adults and hot people and
Oh yeah.
whatever, and they still have a smile on their faces for the most part, and they're making what, like $15 an hour tops.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's one of those things that is memorable in itself. So another day, another topic. So back to
Perfect.
snackable.
Let's talk about snackable. Let's define snackable content. What's your definition? What's the factors that go into delicious snackable content?
I think of I think of something that is easily accessed. It's rich. Like you can't just grab any clip off of a big long webinar. You've got to pick and choose what has, something of value, something of insight. It's yummy. It's, delectable. It's, you can consume it quickly. So there's a sense that this one nugget is literally a nugget. Like if I consume this one thing, I'm going to be able to take away something that makes my understanding my professional life better. So that to me is snackable. It's not just taking a big bite of anything and walking away going, huh, that
Yeah.
was kind of satisfying, but not really.
Well, I also think that the format, as well as, I have certain, um, I'm gonna call them actors at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the actors that deliver the snackable content, because I truly believe that, our content creators are literally actors. It's like they're theater,
Mm-hmm.
professionals, and you have them for your professional side of your world and your personal side of of your world, or those that like fill your cup if you can. um and uh Hi, Robin. um we don't read phone books, but thank you. But what I'm That's the
Mhm.
cutest picture ever. But like, so for example, I think it has to do with format. It has to do with when you want to snack on that content at what time. Like you said, it has to be yummy, but you also are in a mindset for it. So like, I will tell you from a personal side, I the first thing that I gravitate to snackable content, yes, are reels, and it's either TikTok or Insta or Facebook. Then again, I've been told by my kids that I am very old, and that the reels that I am consuming on Facebook and Insta are actually a year behind from TikTok. So
Mm.
when I share them, they're like, "Mom, that's so last year." I'm like, "Thank you very much. I feel fulfilled at the moment." But
Mhm.
like Abraham Hicks, I believe in the law of attraction, and I believe in, universe notes and stuff like that. I love that shit. The YouTube
Mhm.
shorts, there are a couple from Gary V that I can like
Wrap
take.
your head around.
Exactly, but
Mhm.
it has to be at certain times. So what I'm saying is, the snackable content, if any event prof or event marketer or any marketer are looking at the snackable content, they have to look at it in the sense of, okay, who's consuming it,
Mhm.
as well as at what time,
Mhm.
and are you mixing it up enough that it doesn't sound monotonous, and then they start like, pushing it into mute, um, mode, if you will.
Yeah, I think you brought up a really good point too, in that if you know this content is going to be snacked upon, you have to sort of orchestrate the snackability in some ways. So, what you just said about you can't have speakers that are not cognizant of the snackable quality that we need now. They
Right.
have to be very concise. They have to deliver in a snackable way so that it can be chopped up. So each sort of thing is like a paragraph in a longer piece, right? Uh,
Hmm.
we need to make points and then go on to the next points. We can't be jumping back and forth, into different points. Our stuff is probably not snackable, Dahlia, because we're like all over the map a
Well,
lot.
hang on, because we're going to try to make this session snackable. So this
Okay.
is where, I think this is where we talk a lot about repurposing content, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when we take a look at like even the Cut the Shit show, or we take a look at some of our clients' content, what we try to strategize with them and like outline with them is certain points, and then what are the sub points after that. And I just had a call with Robin yesterday, because we're doing a webinar together next week,
Mm-hmm.
where we were trying to get all the panelists to think that way, because then it's easy for you to repurpose and recycle sessions. If we
Mm-hmm.
go back and we say, Bruno, name me three like top, um I want to have this within a snackable content piece. What are those? And then that segment becomes snackable content. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yeah. So I think we're talking about number one, training the deliverers of the
Yes.
content. Number two, I think that the event technology companies are finally onto something in creating these snackable content hubs
Yep.
and or encouraging their customers to, repurpose the content that they have. So I think the third thing is going to be other participants within the sort of event ecosystem, training them how to create sponsor lounges or exhibits or things like that that are, we already know they should be Instagrammable, but they should be snackable too. So there should be vignettes maybe of things that they can take away, that they can take pictures of, that they can share back in the office. So I really think that the whole thing around the whole concept of snackability will continue to sort of, penetrate events in a big way. And we've got to figure out how to absorb that and follow that. It's the way of the world now. It's just going to be what it's going to be. And we got to jump on board
Well,
that
well,
thing.
well, Karen says it as she always does because she drops the mic every single time she's with us. It's a want it now society.
Right.
And so, like, if we think of it, and it's funny you say snackability, I wonder if that needs to be a category within all the categories when you're going to a show and you're looking for, which platforms offer snackability or snackable content. It could be a thing.
Could it be like even listed in the show directory?
Yes.
So you know how like too long read later or whatever that thing is,
TLDR.
TLDR. Maybe that's a section at the bottom of the directory. We're in essence, descriptions about what you're exhibiting should be that, but most people do it wrong. Most people try to cram in all the stuff and it looks like a chopped up mess of all their features and things like that. But what if there was a section that said these exhibits are snackable, or they can be easily, these sessions are snackable, these, if you want to like go through our whole event, our whole conference and get the highlights and the snacks, here's where you go and here's how you do it.
All right, so let's talk about money for a
Hira.
second. Yeah.
Hira,
Let's talk about like monetizing even snackable content, because I think event profs are always not only trying to make money, but especially money on content. So what if, here's 3 ideas.
Yep.
So what if your snackable content is actually a different fee that you pay for, because it is considered to be like spin-offs of the breakout sessions that were not really recorded in the first place, or like, the 90-minute like huge sessions that we still call plenary for I don't know what reason. And so you have snackable content, or you have mini versions of it that is at a different fee or an additional fee, etc. So that's one. Second is, what if you bring in your event influencers? Instead of calling them event influencers, call them content influencers or content creators at a show.
Yeah.
And you have them sit at specific sessions. And then after that session, they put in like a reel together of like the highlights from their perspective, because they're going to have a following. They're going to have a way of delivery that's either going to complement or it's going to be totally different than the speaker that was on stage. And all those reels should be gated, should be just, for VIPs, for example. And what if, for example, you actually, instead of working with single influencers or content creators, what if you get groups of people that are like-minded, that are talking about ad hoc topics or ad hoc, like, I don't know, points of conversation that are not in a program, that are not on an agenda, that get together in a hallway, etc. And they create a content reel of that private session, because everybody wants to listen in. Everybody wants to listen in to what Liz and Bruno and Dahlia say. Like, you know, like to Robin's point, yeah, we can even be talking about a phone book and people want to listen in. So what if you create a snackable content around that and you gate it and you offer it to on a different level, different fee, or to a different attendee?
I love the idea of user generated content being in the mix of the
Yes.
reels, but you know, being flies on the wall at some, you know, just serendipitous, goosebumpish, you know, events and meetings and dinners and all of the stuff that's not it's outside the organizers sort of, you know, programming, but it's in there too as part of the reel.
So
Maybe roving people like that.
yeah, I will just say that I am not one about serendipity. I think
Mhm.
what we're talking about here is more synchronized. This is more of a planned thing. You
Mhm.
make it feel like it's not, so that you get that informal type of conversation, because
Mhm.
that's where the gold is, but you need to plan it and schedule it somehow.
Well, maybe we use the teams that are the social media teams that rove throughout different events and take video or interview people and all that. Maybe we repurpose them to also be the snackable content team, where during the event or even in the evenings, they grab content and then create reels afterwards. But I'm sitting here thinking, what I wouldn't give to go to a really important event and then afterward be able to just, you know, on my own time in my pajamas, my bunny slippers, sit and look at the reel and realize, wow, that's very inspirational. And I miss that stuff. And I would do it. I would like that. I
Yeah.
like
So we talk about making money. Let's talk about some of the technologies that we know of that are really taking a step forward in regards to making snackable content design and as part of their platform. So you had mentioned one right before the session.
Yeah. Well, we've got to first give a nod to the granddaddy of snackable content, which is Clipper,
Yep.
who sort of
Set the
stepped away
stage.
a little bit. I mean, I think they're still involved in events, but um, they set the stage a couple of years ago for, you know, organizing and creating snackable content that could then be the snacks could be pushed out, you know.
Yep.
You didn't have to send the whole video to someone and then say, here's your snacks. The idea was the snacks themselves were small bits. So I think we have to start there. I think I mentioned Hubelo
Mm-hmm.
was the one that caught my attention and made me sort of think about, you know, creating, they have a snackable content hub. I think that's going to start being part of at the feature set. But besides Clipper, and I want to say it's Goldcast. I know that they have video creation features. So anyone from Goldcast, if you're listening now or later, chime in on the comments on LinkedIn or wherever. But those are just people that I have noticed. I'm sure there are more. There's never a new idea anymore. It's
No,
always like I'm just going to take an idea and make it my own, which is
exactly.
great. It's
Yeah.
great.
I think I know that sequel.io also has that, where they are having where the content that's being recorded, captured is SEO optimized, as well as you can create snackable content from it. And then you have mainstream. So like when you talk about snackable content, you automatically also think of taking a huge like YouTube video or session, like 90-minute long, and just looking for those moments, the content moments that make sense for you or that you can digest, no pun intended, in a shorter time. So for example, with all the AI evolution that we're going in right now, even YouTube has a Chrome extension called GLASP, GLASP, where you can have YouTube summaries. So you don't have to go through the whole YouTube video. It will give you the summary. I bet you next step, or if it doesn't exist already, it probably does, where you will have it where YouTube is going to say, okay, give me the moments that I want, or like a keyword that is said, create snackable content and let me share it, or create my own highlight reel with Bruno, with Liz, or whoever is listening to my rambling. So there you go.
Well, so talk about video, which you were playing with. Dahlia posts on Slack. I'm just like playing with AI tools, and here and I found one, and talk about, how you found that and what it does, because that just does everything you just said you should do.
All right. So
Using a
yes, I
tool.
have been playing quite a bit. I
There you go.
I sign up for all these companies and then they run after me and they're like, "What? Like, can tell us more?" Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Um, and so Arthur shared
Thank
one.
you.
So there you go. I was playing with video.ai, and basically what you are able to do is upload either a video or share a YouTube URL within video.ai. After, I want to say, like 5 minutes or so, it was kind of ridiculously fast, but it gave me 21 YouTube short videos. You can play with the templates. You can play with the subtitles. You can play with the fonts. I lost myself in trying to make the font. Like, yes, I know it's crazy, but this is where hi Arthur. But this is where the beauty is, because this is where you are able to create snackable content, but also brand it and have it be almost like an extension of your brand, your voice, your style. So it could be funny. You can add in your emojis, etc. And I think it works. Why I play with this is because it strengthens the fact that all of us are content creators. There is nothing standing in our way anymore to make something look fun, to make it, where the barriers of, oh, someone can't, doesn't understand English, can't have it like flip to their own language anymore. The accessibility of it is tremendous, and it just like it just is fun. My only concern right now is that if everybody goes gangbusters in creating content and snackable content, how are you going to filter through the good content from the shitty content?
I think I was thinking about that as I was listening to you talk. First of all, that's going to be the job of algorithms.
Yep.
So anyone that, is averse to having their data collected, then you're just going to get what I got on Threads, all the booty calls and all the weird stuff,
You
because they
got
didn't have
booty
a track
calls?
record. Oh
Damn.
man, just pictures of booty calls. So let that just sit in your mind. Um, I think that algorithms are going to do some of the work. They're going to know what you want and dish up snackable content for you, like in Reels. I think that organizers can also take Reels and slice and dice them in different ways. Do you want the reel that only talks about, what your meat cutting machine, all the content around your meat slicing machines? Or do you want the outtakes? Do you want all the funny behind the scenes stuff at our event? Or do you want the, what only happened at night, sorts of things like,
Like
what's
booty
the
calls?
party with the
Is that where you're
purpose or
getting
the
at? Oh,
whatever? Why not? Why does it only have to be like educational content? It can be lots of different things. I think you can be so creative with just if you go in this direction, then go even further. I'm always the, go deeper, go deeper,
go
go
deep.
deeper. Yeah.
Yep. Well, Liz asked a great question. And what about content fatigue? Will everyone just filter it all out? Like, and Bruno, you touched on that.
Yeah.
But I think yeah, they will filter it out, or they're going to be very, very selective, which
Hmm.
they should. Which actually, I think they're also going to be very selective on the events that they're going to be part of. because you're asking them yet again. We did this before the Corona coaster. I'm going to give you my time. I'm going to give you my mind. You better make it good, right? So they're going to be very selective. And as Bruno loves to do, and we all love to do, you have to dig deeper. So in essence, you have to ask your stakeholders and your attendees, what kind of content do they want to snack on, and have fun with it. Like you can say, it has to be delicious and yummy. Do you want sweet? Do you want savory? Do you want salty? Does it have to be like
provocative? Do you want
exactly? Like, can you imagine if you got that as a content like matchmaking?
Yeah,
That would be fantastic. Like,
yeah.
do you want something snackable? Do you want something that's mind bending? Do you want?
Titillating.
Yes, exactly.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've got to think that publishing companies would be all over this idea because they already have a lot of content.
Right.
And video content. They're starting to take more of it. Michael Shapiro, are you listening? You know, at Event Tech Live, he captured a lot of content for his North Star publications, and you know, and he's been doling that out, and it's been really good. But what if that even that content was used to create reels, the really really good stuff in a reel? I mean, I think that that would draw people. But the other idea I had, to Liz's point, is reels are just sort of top of funnel types of things. You could use a snippet or a piece of snackable content to find someone that you really wanted to follow elsewhere, and maybe that contact information is included with the reel or whatever, like Instagram. You know, you could then start following these people across the internet, across whatever medium. And if influencers and they are smart, and content creators are smart, or speakers are smart, they'll create their own reels and put it on their own website so that when people do follow them, they can, you know, get those clips or start following them. So I think people will self-filter and use the reels to just find people that they want to follow elsewhere, which will be great.
Yeah.
And also,
Absolutely great.
if you don't want to, you know, nobody's making you sit there for 52 hours and look at snackable content. Turn
No.
it off. Go outside. Have a swim. You know, whatever you
Yep.
think.
Perfect. Awesome. So, well, this was a great session.
I think so.
Yeah.
Thank you, Liz, for joining in.
Yes.
And you know, maybe we'll do a bigger Disney thing. I know I have never gone to a Disney leadership thing. I've never gone to even a single presentation on Disney. But after going now for like the 5th time, I finally get it. I finally reached the point, Dahlia, where I'm like I get stuff now.
There you go.
There we go.
You had to see it through a 3-year-old lens, but yeah, you got it.
Yeah, many lenses, one window. Anyway.
Awesome.
Anyway.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We will be back next week, and our topic next week is the progress of women in the events industry, still an issue worth discussing. Hell to the yes. August 3rd and 10th. So we are starting August strong. Our trade association events killing it or not. And then August 10th, an e-commerce approach to event registration. If you have any topics that you would love to discuss, you want to be a guest, please, you know where we live. So reach out and we would love to have you. And I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend.